I would say I was talking to George Gammon a lot. We were on the phone for probably 2 hours. He's really the first person that I started working for. Well, he is. He's the guy whose tattoo or the logo I have tattooed on my leg. That's the first job that I got. And I was telling him that I'm getting a lot of people that are reaching out to me that want to work and that are ambitious young people who really want to work hard. And I was saying I was very optimistic about the future because of that. And he had a slightly different take. He was saying, Josh, the one of the reasons is because you're talking about how you got all the opportunities because you worked for free and because you took extraordinary risk. I said, yeah, well, I mean, those are the types of people that I'm looking for, people that are similar and would take extraordinarily amounts of risks for an unknown reward, which is really what running a business is. You're putting everything on the line for something that may or may not happen. And statistically, you are most likely not going to succeed in business. And George said, and then I asked him, how do you test if somebody really has it? Because he said, Josh, nobody's like you. He said, Josh, you were reaching out to 100 people a month minimum asking to work for him for free. You were asking to pay people. You were saying you'd give them a percentage of whatever you earn. He's like, you got my fucking logo tattooed on your leg. He's like, you took your first ever flight to meet me just to shake my hand, to say, what do I have to do to work for you? And then he said, the second I called you and said, hey, I'm thinking about taking this more seriously. Do you want to move to Arizona? I was just like, yes, I will go. They said, well, don't you want to know what you would get paid? I was like, no, I just want to go. And then he's like, well, do you want to know when you're coming? I was like, Monday? When do you want me there? And for me, that it's just always been a no-brainer to do that. Like for me, that's just instant. And he was saying most people are not like that. And I guess I had to reflect and realize that that's not the case. But I will tell you that is the only reason why I'm in the position that I am today. The only reason. The connections mean everything because now I have the opportunities that I have today to work with some of the largest business owners, like quite literally ever in the world. And I'm hanging out with them every single day simply because I took extraordinary amounts of risk, not because I'm smarter than other people. You just have to find a way to get into the room with them because that's really the way that this works. The business owners work with people that they know, like, and trust. They're not going to. It is extraordinarily hard for them to take on somebody else if they have an inside connection. Because I can assure you, this is how people do business. This is how I do business now. If I am looking to expand my team, the first or to learn something or to hire some sort of independent contractor or some sort of business, the first thing I do is I look at my network. I look at my Rolodex and say, who can I call that may have a connection that will know someone in the space? And so let's say I'll call, let's say I wanted some sort of paid advertising, someone who was good at SMMA, which is just social media marketing, but through paid ads. What would I do? I would call one of my friends who's very, very big in the space, and all business owners will know somebody who's running paid ads on an extraordinary large scale. And they'll say, hey, who do you use? And can you put me in contact with them? That's what happens. Guys, large business owners hang out with other large business owners, and they will usually, if someone is doing good work for them, then they will just spread the word. That's how it happens. And so now I'm in that position because I'm doing really good work for people. So whenever someone wants to say, who do I need to really grow my social media and then help me convert them into paying customers? If they call anybody that I've worked with, I'm going to get a phone call in a few days. It's just because I've gotten my foot in the door. But to get your foot in the door, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. It really, really is. I mean, I took such extreme measures. And then I was working for dozens of people for free for a very long period of time. I was actually paying out of pocket every single dollar that I would make to expand team and hire people to work for other people while I was trying to grow a business. I actually have never really spoken about that on my channel. But when I first started a little side business, I wasn't really getting paid. Well, I was getting paid for, I was charging people $4,000 per month, and I was spending about $5,000 because had another income source from George. And so I could take on 3 or 4 clients, and I would spend every single dollar that I would make because I wanted to learn the skill and I wanted to do good work. And then I thought that I could make more money in the future if I did it. And for me, that's just always been a no brainer because every single successful business owner that I know, let's just take Ken, for example. I don't think, I mean, he didn't even start his business until his late 20s. Like he was like 28 or something like that. And he probably didn't make $1 million until he was like in his 30s. And so that's how just about every single one of these people are that are now worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that I hang out with. So I know that the fact that I'm 21 and doing this and how wealth compounds so much over time, my only goal, is increasing my skill set to such a high degree that I can provide so much ridiculous value to the marketplace. Income will never be a problem. And the way that I can do that and learn these skills is by charging less now in exchange for education. And that's been the biggest reason for the success of my network, because I truly, I can't even articulate how important it is to be surrounded by these types of people. So how do you get your foot in the door? I would say go to conferences in whatever your niche is, because usually those ideal avatars are there. And if you could have a pre-planned problem that they have and try and fix it beforehand and then show them how you would fix it, that's usually what I would do when I would go to conferences. But I also had a foot in the door because I could always be in the VIP room where all the speakers are. So you almost have to pay for the VIP ticket so you can be with the speakers, because the speakers always hang out in the VIP room. And usually conferences, you can pay an extra few $1,000 for the VIP ticket. But if you were really looking to do this, I promise you it's worth it. I can guarantee you it's worth it if you get your foot in the door, because I've gone to these types of things and I've known exactly who I want to talk to, and I've solved their problem, and I've thought through a very deep level as to what I think that I could do to help them in their business. And I will have everything ready. So when I go talk to them and sit next to them in the VIP room, because that's where all these speakers hang out, I can tell them exactly what I think I should do. And all I'm doing is providing value to them. And the reason I can do that is because I have the skills. So I'm genuinely just solving a problem that they have. And I'm not even using myself as the solution. I'm just saying, hey, dude, I think that you would have much better results if you did X, Y, and Z. Here are the reasons. Here's the results that I've seen for other people. Here's how I know this is true if I look at your analytics. And because I can actually provide value, they want to listen. And I've built a decent reputation, but you can still do that if you get a way to get into the VIP room. If not, I'm definitely not recommending you get a tattoo of someone's logo on your leg. That was how drastic my measures I had to take, though, because just asking someone to work for free just didn't work. It didn't. And the reason why was because I didn't have any value to provide somebody, and I was reaching out to people online. I think if you were doing that to small businesses, you absolutely could. If anybody wanted to go to a small business near them, or even a medium or large business that is not on social media, for example, the mastermind that I get to go to because Ken and George run it, the people there are extraordinarily large business owners. I mean, some of them have businesses that are doing 50 plus $1 million per year. I mean, these guys are proper business owners. And every single one of them would kill to have a young, ambitious person working with them. I've been offered gross amounts of money to work for these people. I mean, it's stupid how much money. And the reason is because they really want young, ambitious people to pass the torch off to. That's what Ken is actually doing right now. He's in the process of building his younger staff to pass the torch off to them and become more of a board of director type of role instead of the CEO. And I'm watching him doing that real time. This is how every single business owner wants. Every single one of them, super successful. It's just, how do you find them? I mean, maybe go to your local country club. Maybe just, if you know someone that has a super nice car, ask that. Like, I genuinely, I don't know. If go, like, you have to find the places where they are. Super nice restaurants. If you can go there, but you don't want to bother someone while they're eating. Super expensive gyms. I've met a ton of real connections at the super expensive gyms, especially because of the car that I'm driving, which is Ken's, which is a 1957 Porsche Speedster, which is every single old rich person wants that car. I would say every person wants the car. So I get a lot of connections of super wealthy people making conversation with me because I have that car. But what do you do if you are not in any sort of position? Because I this is the only real advice that I have for people. Find a way to get your foot in the door and then over deliver on everything. Just work however hard you need to make sure you're delivering more value than they have ever received from anyone. And just take risks. I would note Ken, almost all employees, not just Ken's, but most employees are not willing to take risks or fail at something. They want to play it very safe because they want the job security, where they don't want business owners want their employees to take risk, and they would rather them mess up taking a risk because they thought it would generate more profits for the company than to just live super, super safe and just wait for direction. So I I've also noticed that then these business owners are much more willing to be coaching you because they're seeing that you're really trying to actually improve the company and you're trying to deliver value as opposed to just having a safety net of a job. But it makes sense why people just want to be safe in their job and not risk any sort of failure by undertaking some sort of work. I really wish I had a good answer as to how people could find these types of connections. Super expensive places. Like I would say go there for coffee if you could. Like find them tomorrow there's this place in Scottsdale called the Global Ambassador, which is like a new hotel, which is a 5-star hotel that like the dinner reservations are always booked up. Everything's always super packed. I haven't been there yet, but it's a super, super high-end place. Tomorrow I'll probably go there for coffee and I'll do work and I'll spend 2 or 3 hours there. And the people that are going to be there are all going to be incredibly successful because I mean, who's going to be at a restaurant getting coffee at 11 o'clock to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.? It's going to be someone who has the luxury and the freedom to not be working during that time. They're either running some sort of business, they're doing something to where they're not working on a Thursday afternoon or whatever it is, because I don't have to go into the office or anything. And I'm not even necessarily, I mean, I'm going to be working because, I mean, that's what I do because I have my own business. I work wherever I want to. And that's where there's going to be a lot of other successful people. I know that because I was flying in from the event that I was at this weekend, a real estate event with this guy who's big in real estate. He was in the NFL and he took all the money that he made from his 9 years in the NFL and invested it into real estate. And so he's just crushing it. And he was the one that told me, dude, go to Global Ambassador to do work. I go there all the time. So it'd be cool if I see him. His name's DK. I don't remember what his full name is, but it's short for, I just called him DK the whole time because that's what Ken called him. And he's a freaking big dude. So, yeah, you got to find a way. Because if you can get your foot in the door and you can provide value, dude, you're going to be crushing it, especially for the younger people that watch this. This is the first video of my probably 200 that I'm doing because I do one every single day for 1,000 days that I'm giving concrete advice. I usually never do, but this is the only thing that I truly, truly, strongly believe because that's what matters. And I'll use another example of one of my buddies who's also in the same mastermind that I get to go to, who just crushes it. He has a restaurant, which is like a super, super popular restaurant in North Carolina. And I was like, I was thinking, how does this guy have money? I just know that restaurants have super small margins. And then I know that he took the money and invested into real estate and he's a real go-getter. I mean, this guy's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. I really like him. And then he was telling me that he made a connection from his gym with one of the guys that's in like the local politics. And the guy's a huge fan of his restaurant. And what he did was he partnered with the local private schools for the very top end kids who are like the super geniuses who go to like a special school. And he supplies all of the food and cooking for them. And I was like, well, how much money you make from that? He's like, about $50,000 per school day. And my jaw dropped. I was like, dude, what the hell? I was like, that's how you make a lot of money from food. $50,000 per day is crazy. It's crazy per school day. And I mean, these are the types of things that I think about. Like these are the types of leverage opportunities, and a lot of them come from connections, finding the whales to work with, and it's always just coming down to connections. unless you're just super, super, super smart and you can like code something, you gotta, if you're getting clients somewhere, you gotta get the client. And to do that, you have to be good at communicating with people. And that's one of the main reasons why I make these videos, because communicating with other people, it takes articulation ability and being able to express your thoughts. And if you can provide value for somebody, it's being able to express how you can actually provide value for them. And they are going to perceive your ability to value to them to how well you can communicate. That's how the world works. It really is. How you are presented and how you can explain yourself is the way that they are going to assume that you do business as well. So learning these skills of talking are so ridiculously important. So talking to a stupid camera for 10, 20 minutes per day has helped me a ridiculous amount being able to communicate more thoroughly and express my ideas better. So that's another thing.